Are you getting ready to have your mastectomy soon? If so, I encourage you to watch this video where I talk about 7 things to consider in preparing for your mastectomy so that your recovery runs more smoothly. But before I get started, I want to make sure that you have had your questions answered in the pros and cons of a mastectomy versus a lumpectomy, and your pros and cons in the differences for a double mastectomy versus a single mastectomy, and also make sure that you have had your questions answered about reconstructive options, because that can make a difference in what kind of surgery you have coming up next. So you'll find out more by looking into those topics. I have 2 videos prior to this one that talk about your surgical options, lumpectomy versus mastectomy, double mastectomy versus single mastectomy. And if you like and subscribe, you will hopefully not miss the video in the future where I talk about different reconstructive options available at the time of this recording. I encourage you to look into all of that before you get your mastectomy, so that you feel confident in the decision that you're making for you personally. But if you've had all these questions answered and you're ready to move forward, then let's get started. I also want to mention that in the description of this video down below, there are links to support groups so that I'm not leaving you hanging in these questions on reconstructive options. You can get to those more quickly if you're still waiting for the reconstructive options video.
You're never told that life could ever get this way.
First thing, number 1, that you might want to consider in preparing for your mastectomy to make recovery more easy is your emotions. Think about your emotions going into this surgery. You may not be aware of how you're going to feel afterward. One of the things that I suggest is maybe some kind of way to say goodbye to your breast or breasts. It can hit us hard in our recovery. We're all different. Some of us are more attached to them than others, and some of us have different reasons to be attached to our breasts. For me, it was a little bit difficult because I breastfed all 3 of my children. So I kind of wanted to honor my breasts before I lost them. They did a good job of breastfeeding my children, but they were no longer needed. And they needed to be removed because there was cancer in one of them. And actually, I had a single mastectomy. And if you want to find out why I say I had them removed in total, you'll have to go to the prior video to see my story. I don't want to lose focus on this, and I already shared how I ended up eventually having both of them removed. It's not really a double mastectomy. One was a single mastectomy and one was a prophylactic mastectomy. But you might want to consider some way of feeling like there's some closure in your loss of your breast or breasts. Some people have a goodbye booby party. It doesn't have to be elaborate. You know yourself whether you want something elaborate or you want something a little bit quieter, or you may not want a party. Maybe you just want to, if you journal, maybe you want to write a letter to your breasts. I know that sounds crazy, but it might help you process things in your mind to help move forward in the sense of loss that you might feel on the other end of the surgery. The second thing that I want to help you consider is delegating some things. You might have a bestie in mind, a best friend, or your spouse, or a sister, or a brother, or anybody that you can think of, in your mind, whether you have somebody or not, and who that person is, that can pick up the slack for you, because you are going to have very limited range of motion coming out of your surgery and in your recovery. It will come back, but you are going to have somebody do a lot of things for you. I'm not kidding when I say that you will probably have T-Rex arms coming out of mastectomy. I did. Simply folding a towel felt like I was climbing Mount Everest, and I am not kidding y'all. So you're going to want to consider delegating tasks that you took for granted prior to surgery, including things like housekeeping, childcare, dog walking, if you have lawn maintenance and you do not hire that out, that kind of thing. Even cooking and baking, your meals, you might want to prepare them ahead of time, or you might be able to have somebody put together a meal train for you. And speaking of meal trains, some of these services online where people sign up, they can have it set up not just for meal trains, but for your childcare and lawn maintenance and dog walking, anything that you're going to need. People can sign up to do that for you. And this way they know what you are open for them to come in and help you with and what you would rather hire somebody to do and so forth. So the second consideration is delegating things. Number 3 consideration is your clothing. You're going to want to wear comfortable clothing. Remember, I mentioned the T-Rex arm, so you're not going to want things that are going to be hard on your range of motion. So you're going to want things that zip up and down or button up and down, things that are easy to take on and off or step into instead of pulling. You don't want it to be like a typical t-shirt where you'd be amazed how much you use your arms when you're wearing certain clothing. So you don't want it to be something that's going to be hard for you to move your arms through. Also, you're going to have drains, and hopefully your care team talks about this prior to your surgery. I would expect that they would. But you're going to have drains that collect any blood that's coming out of your surgical sites. Don't be alarmed. This is normal for some blood. When you have a drain, it's going to start out with a red fluid, and then over time it looks like fruit punch a little bit, but over time it turns pink, and then it turns yellow and almost clear. Those drains are there to collect fluid from your surgical sites to decrease the risk of infection, and your care team can talk about any other purpose for those drains. But you're going to want some things to accommodate for those drains. So consider drain shirts. I will share a link in the description of this video below that talks about the Blessing Box project. They will send you a drain shirt as well as a mastectomy pillow, which I will mention shortly. That they will send you one of those. In fact, this shirt came from them. I bought this shirt to help pay for postage because they try to send these free of charge and cover the postage, but they need help with that as well. So I paid for this shirt, and it helped toward postage in future mastectomy pillows and drain shirts being sent to people. So you can go to that link to sign up for a mastectomy pillow and drain shirt, and it's free of charge and postage free. But if you are in a position where you can afford it, I also encourage you, if you feel led, to also donate, either buy a shirt from them to help with postage or just send some money to help with postage. That link is below. So yeah, you're going to want things that will help you accommodate for your T-Rex arms. You will also probably want slip-on shoes for the same reason. You don't want to have to be busy with the task of tying your shoes. You want the easiest things to put on and take off. So zip up, button up, step in, slip on, all those kinds of things. Somebody also mentioned wearing Grippy socks. You'll probably get some of those from your hospital. I did at every hospital I had a surgery from, but I'll try to put some link to some cute Grippy socks I might see on Amazon that you might want to check out. These might help so that when you're at home, you don't feel like you have to wear tennis shoes, but you're wearing something that's easy to take on, to put on and take off, but is also helps with not slipping. So yeah, you're wanting to focus on comfort. And also pants and skirts that have elastic on them, things that aren't going to push against your skin, especially if you did have reconstruction with your surgery, like a deep flap, because that skin is going to be kind of sensitive and raw, and so you're gonna want something gentle against your skin. Also, you might consider some safety pins to pin your drains, but the drain shirts also should have pockets for those. Your fourth consideration is going to be hygiene. I strongly encourage you to make sure that you wash your hair the night before surgery, because after surgery, you cannot take a shower for the next 48 hours. I was fortunate enough that, this sounds kind of crazy, because why would somebody say they're fortunate that they had chemo? But the reason I'm saying I was fortunate is that I had chemo prior to mastectomy, so I didn't have much hair at all to wash in my mastectomy recovery. But you may have a whole head full of hair like I do now, and it's going to be hard for you to wash it after your surgery in your period of recovery. That's another thing you might want to consider delegating. I know that sounds crazy, but like I said, this is an unusual situation. When you're in recovery, you have T-Rex arms. So definitely prior to surgery, that night before surgery, make sure that you give your hair a really good wash. If you can't think of somebody that you trust at home to wash your hair, but money is not much of an issue and you do have hair prior to surgery, maybe you go to the beauty salon and have just have your hair washed. I think they have services like that in some beauty salons. I know Great Clips and other places like that aren't expensive if it's not a big deal. I mean, it's just your hair being washed. You might consider getting your hair washed. But also you can invest in a dry shampoo until you're able to wash your hair. And even when you do have that green light to take a shower, like I said, your range of motion is going to be very compromised. So consider that prior to surgery so you're prepared for it. Also, even if you're not using your arms when you're taking a shower, it's going to be exhausting to take a shower. So if you don't already have a shower chair, I strongly encourage you to rent one or purchase one for your shower. You're not going to be able to take a bath because you can't soak your in your incisions, and it's also not good for your drains. It increases your risk of infection. So investing in a good shower chair is also strongly suggested. If you are used to doing renovations or you have a spouse who goes to home improvement stores a lot, you may be familiar with the nail apron. But if not, I will put a picture of it in the video here. But you might want to go to Home Depot or Lowe's or a similar home improvement store and buy a nail apron. They don't cost any more than $5 or $10, and those will hold your drains in place so that they're not tugging and so that they don't get real wet when you're taking a shower once you get that green light to take one. You can tie it around you so it has pockets to hold your drains. Your fifth consideration is going to be your comfort. And I mentioned it below when I talked about drain shirts, but you might consider getting a mastectomy pillow. I said that I shared a link below for Blessing Box Project. You can sign up for both a drain shirt and a mastectomy pillow through Blessing Box Project for free. They will send it to you for free. And I talked about the shirt to help pay for postage if you feel led to do that now or in the future. But the link is there for you to get a mastectomy pillow and a drain shirt for free. How I use a mastectomy pillow is when I was coming home from surgery. You will probably feel every bump in the road that you wouldn't normally feel. Keep the mastectomy pillow close to your chest, and it'll help absorb the shock of the bumps in the road between leaving the hospital and coming home. Your sixth consideration is going to be sleep. It's going to be very hard to get in and out of bed in a normal way, the way that you're probably used to. It's going to be hard if you lay flat on your back. It's going to be hard to get up. It feels like there's a lot of weight on your chest when you do that. And when you don't have use of your arms, it's very hard. And even having help from somebody getting in and out of bed is hard. So you might consider investing in a wedge pillow so that you're sleeping on an incline, or even better, using your recliner if you have a recliner, or renting a recliner, or investing in a good recliner so that you don't have to worry about getting in and out of bed, because you're going to want to sleep at an angle, and you're going to want to be able to easily get in and out of bed. So consider sleeping in a recliner until you get that range of motion where you feel comfortable getting in and out of bed. I know there is a charity somewhere where a Girl Scout knew about the use of recliners in mastectomy recovery. I believe her mother or somebody she was related to was recovering from a mastectomy. So for her Girl Scout project, she founded a charity that lends out recliners. I'm not sure if it's just for her area locally or her state, but I will try to find that link and share it below so that if money is an issue, you can go to that source to try to get a recliner, or see if somebody can lend you one. At the very least, try to get a wedge pillow, because it's going to be hard to get in and out of bed. You need to sleep on an incline. Last but not least, the seventh consideration is to make sure that you are listening to your care team's recovery instructions. And I'm not kidding with this. You need to take it easy. If they tell you not to lift a certain amount of weight, you need to take that seriously. Because if you don't, it may delay your recovery and you getting your range of motion back in a more smooth amount of time. The same with the instructions about when you have a green light to take a shower. Take those seriously, because if you don't, it could increase your risk of getting an infection. Like, for example, if you're not watching how if you're not monitoring your drains in a proper manner the way they tell you to, and if you take a bath when you're not supposed to, that can increase your risk of infection, which can cause you to have more surgeries, or you don't want the added hassles of infections or increased recovery time. So I urge you to really listen to your care team and what they tell you to do, and take that advice over mine any day, because I am not a doctor. I'm just a pink sister. So I have anecdotal things that I can share as a pink sister, but you need to listen to your doctor over what I say any day. Also, really pay attention when they tell you to take it easy. Take it easy. So with that thought in mind, make sure that you have things that you can do that help you take it easy, because you're not going to be able to do a lot of things you're used to doing, and I'm not kidding about that. Have some entertainment on hand. You may be able to do some work if it's work like from a computer, but even that, like I said, you have T-Rex arms, so you're really going to have to play it by ear from how you feel after your surgery, how you personally feel in recovery. But definitely take it easy. Breathe. I know this sounds like a lot, and it's not something that you're going to be used to. I'm not sugarcoating it, but I know that you can get through this if you take this one day at a time.
You're never told that life could ever get this way. This bill's a joke, you're broke, your love life still wait. This journey feels like you're in second gear, where it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain hits the door. I'll be there for you because I've been there before. I'll be there for you and you're there for me too.